Right, it's been months since Resident Evil Village came out, but I can't stop thinking about Donna Beneviento. Not in that Lady D kind of way, though. Donna Beneviento is an interesting character, either sympathetic or just as bad as the other lords depending on your point of view, and if you explore her past along with me, there's some interesting details that could sway you either way. Thanks to notes, diaries, and dialogue in Resident Evil Village, I've managed to put together her backstory, the reason behind that goddamn baby, and all the lore you'd ever want to know about our eerie doll maker. By the way, if you want to see more of these kinds of lore videos, let me know in the comments below and give this video a like, as I sure as hell love writing them. Anyway, here's Donna Beneviento's story explained, and beware, there are plenty of spoilers in this one. Let's start at the very beginning. The Benevientos were descendants of Berengario, one of the 4 founders of the isolated village Ethan loses himself in, along with almost a limb. In Italian, Donna's name means lady, which is rather fitting for her as it gives the impression of the lady of the manor, and Donna stayed in the Beneviento home instead of roaming around the village and doing various grotesque deeds to its inhabitants, like the other 3 lords did. Mostly, that is, but I'll get onto her darker side later. The Beneviento crest is a sun and moon, symbolising reality and fantasy, light and dark, life and death, which was Donna through and through. Donna and Angie. I'll get onto her in just a bit. Donna's childhood wasn't easy, we know that for sure. Living with the fear of others, the English and Japanese translations do differ on why she was so scared of other people, and whether it's down to her facial scar. In the English version, the Beneviento gardener comments that she doesn't mix with others because of the scar on her face, but in the Japanese version, the scar comes from something that happened around the death of her parents and doesn't seem to affect her fear of others. Regardless of which one you believe, Donna did not like other people. Her loving parents did their best to make her happy though, with her father using his doll-making talents to create a doll for her, who she named Angie.
I've been waiting for so long. I'd make a much better daughter than Rose. Please, won't you stay with me forever?
Angie is much more than just a doll to Donna, and to her father too, I think. Dressed in a white bride's dress, Angie represented life, hope and happiness, all the things you associate with marriage. Upon her face was also the Beneviento crest, with the moon on the right-hand side of her face. By all indications, Donna's parents were proud of their heritage and their ancient crest, possibly trying to instill the same pride or comfort in Donna by making it such a prominent part of Angie's design. To their delight, I presume, Donna started to talk through Angie, giving the doll an outgoing, chatty, and childish persona to compensate for her reclusive nature. I think at one point or another we've all wanted to escape our reality when we were kids, but what might have begun as a game of make-believe quickly turned into something Donna would depend upon for the rest of her life. For all we know, getting and bonding with Angie might have been the last truly happy moment of Donna's childhood, as, over a century, the Beneviento family started to fracture. Miranda listed a 21-year-old Bernadette B as being the subject of one of her experiments, but she died in the process like tons of other villagers. This woman could have been Bernadette Beneviento, Donna's older sister perhaps, but that is just a guess, as we don't know her surname for sure. Claudia Beneviento also died at the age of just 9 years old. We don't know whether Claudia was Donna's younger sister, daughter, or niece, but by the sounds of it, shortly afterwards, Donna's parents committed suicide, leaving Donna alone in the Beneviento mansion. Claudia was buried in the grounds of the mansion, and the parents might be buried in this grave here, as that is where you find the other half of Claudia's grave plaque, and rather morbidly, the concept art notes say that one of the ideas for Donna's mother was that she killed herself by jumping off the cliff into the waterfall just behind the family home. So, if you want to go with that kind of headcanon, that might be where the Beneviento parents committed suicide, and why their grave is so hard to find, and who knows, possibly even a watery, unmarked kind of one. At some point after her parents' suicide, Donna starts to dress exclusively in mourning clothes, complete with veil. Interesting little detail if you'll indulge my morbid side for a second. Donna and Angie's outfits are reminiscent of the hidden mother photography that boomed in the Victorian period, where mothers would dress up in black and hide their faces in photographs, with their baby on their lap, to get the child to sit still. Practical? Yes. Creepy? Oh god, yes. Back to Donna though. She inherited her father's talent for creating dolls. They were scattered all around the Beneviento mansion, and there's sewing supplies and fabric in the foyer, showing that Donna made all the clothes for the dolls by hand and clearly adored them. Dressing up dolls is only so much fun though. Instead of adding like moving eyes or articulated limbs, later in life, Donna decided to spice up her porcelain chums by giving them knives. I'd guess this was presumably after Miranda implanted the Caddo in her, as if it was before, Donna, I am worried about you, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself again. Donna's agoraphobic nature didn't alleviate as she got older, so Donna stayed in her mansion alone with her dolls and had a rather poignant portrait painted of her and Angie. But if you look at it, Donna is lacking that scar across her face. Like Lady Domitresque's portrait of her daughters, this might be a case of wishful thinking with Donna portrayed how she sees herself. Then Miranda came knocking. Taking a shine to her by all appearances, Miranda actually needed Donna to test the Caddo out on her ancient bloodline. Miranda made it known in the village that she had adopted Donna and considered her daughter, which delighted Donna and must have made her feel like, along with the other lords, she had a family again. Note that she's literally sitting on Miranda's right-hand side in this scene, which shows just how important Donna feels she is to Miranda, as she's literally her right-hand man. Or girl, whatever. Being part of Miranda's family, however, is accepting her gift, the Caddo. After receiving what Donna calls this gift of power, the Caddo takes over her face and obscures the scar, mutating into the same moon-like shape that Angie has on her face and therefore the Beneviento crest. Subconsciously, mimicking Angie might have been something that Donna was into though. Once the Caddo had made its home in her, Donna did some surgery on herself and bound the Caddo to Angie as well, then went to visit her gardener and tested whether she could speak to him through Angie. Far from being an inanimate object, Angie was already showing signs of being an extension of Donna thanks to the Caddo, and had a lively conversation with the Beneviento gardener. This poor gardener. He was very fond of Donna and cared about her deeply, and he gets a pretty sad comeuppance for such empathy. As well as controlling her dolls from afar, because yes, Donna implanted a bit of her Caddo into each doll she created, which must have meant more surgery just showing Donna's dedication, she also got the ability to produce hallucinations. By secreting a signal-producing substance, Donna could control plants infected by the mutamycete. These plants gave off a pollen, and once that pollen gets into a human, Donna can control their mental state and cause them to have hallucinations that she has power over. Come to think of it, that is a lot like how she controls her dolls from afar too. Donna is just a purebred puppet master. In another test run, Donna gives her poor gardener the yellow flowers whose pollen grants her this hallucinatory ability and asks him to plant them, which he does around Claudia's grave, and I'm so sorry for what's about to happen to you, friendo. When the gardener handles the plants, he absorbs the pollen through his skin, and Donna does another little experiment, making him hallucinate seeing none other than his dead wife. Opening up about this extraordinary encounter to Donna, the gardener is bemused, but our gal Donna is over the moon, and invites him back to the Beneviento mansion, where she says she'll reunite him with his presumably dead family. It does not end well. Well, not for the gardener at least. The gardener's shack is abandoned after this, and it's safe to assume that the gardener died at Donna's, or at her homicidal doll's, hands. After this, Donna really seems to have lent into being kinda creepy and terrorising the villagers who came her way. Body bags, which Ethan sees as dolls at first, are hung up in trees near her mansion. With her ability to control people and dolls, she might have seen the villagers as just another form of entertainment, and could have killed many more people hanging them in the forest outside of her mansion. Or they could have been stored there by the Lycans, but either way, after the gardener incident, Donna is not as sympathetic as I first thought. Enter Ethan. Angie gets real up in Ethan's face during his trial in front of the four lords, indicating Donna is fascinated by the newest visitor to their domain, and in due course, she has her fun with him. On his way to her mansion across the rickety bridge that I completely thought was going to give way, Ethan inhales some pollen and has hallucinations of Mia, courtesy of Donna. She also works her trippy magic on his offensive capabilities, probably knowing she doesn't stand a chance against a fully geared up Ethan, so makes him think that his weapons have disappeared. This next bit, I think, is a second piece of evidence that Donna isn't as sympathetic as she'd like people to believe. Donna delights in playing games with Ethan and tormenting him. She teases him by placing one of Rose's flasks on Angie's lap in the basement before plunging him into darkness, plays distressing messages from Mia over the radio, and has him dissect a life-sized doll of his supposedly dead wife. Not exactly the actions of someone who isn't as twisted as the other four lords and is morbidly fascinated with manipulating people. I mean, she is a doll maker. It shouldn't come as a surprise that she takes some kind of sick pleasure in playing with people, much like you play with dolls. Look, I can't go any further without talking about that baby. I hate it. But I'm going to try and rationalise my way out of pure repulsion, otherwise I'm going to remember what it was like to have that thing chasing me and just off! The baby is a Silent Hill-like representation of Ethan's fears and guilt about Rose. Donna has really outdone herself on this one, creating a fetus-like abomination that looks like every screaming baby ever from the front, yet with back legs that kind of look like a woman giving birth, with a placenta dragging between her splayed legs. Oh yeah, it's very Silent Hill. Let that sprawling, gurgling thing get too close to you and it eats Ethan by swallowing him whole. Done very much deliberately because babies put everything in their mouths, so of course that's what it does to you. Its huge stretched maw is also kind of a hellish mimic of babies when they wail, so yep, well done Donna, the baby is disturbing on multiple levels. Now, I'm going to skip to when Ethan confronts Donna. The only thing we hear her say in the entire game is,
"Don't leave. I can't let you."
Trying to appeal to his empathy with such a forlorn remark does make me pity her, as it feels to me that she's very much wishing she could just be alone in her mansion with her dolls. Though I don't think she'd ever go against Miranda, Donna does something incredibly relatable and tries to avoid confrontation at all costs until she simply can't anymore, and doesn't really live to regret it. When you see Angie floating around in the house in this boss fight, it's not Angie levitating in the air. Unbeknownst to Ethan, it's actually Donna holding Angie while trying to flee from him, giving the impression of Angie flying through the mansion. Playing hide and seek with Donna is kind of sad, as it shows just how sheltered Donna was. She doesn't launch into an immediate attack, instead trying to escape by playing another one of her games. Who knows, she might have been scared of leaving her mansion, so, in her eyes, this game was the only chance she had against him. Another reason for her not attacking Ethan point blank and instead relying on her killer dolls is that Donna is, without a doubt, the weakest of the lords. Splitting up her Caddo into these dolls weakened her own potential vastly. Had she kept the Caddo for herself, she probably would have mutated into a boss form like Lady Domitresque, Moreau and Heisenberg instead of being felled with some sewing scissors stabbing her in the face. Donna doesn't drop any crystallized remains either, unlike the other lords, indicating how little of the Caddo was inside of her. I see a lot of debate and fan art online painting Donna in a sympathetic light, so should we feel sorry for her? On one hand, she experimented on the gardener and made literal killing machines to kill Ethan after dragging out his torment at the bloody hands and mouth of the baby. On the other hand, Donna begged him not to leave as it put her in a tricky situation as someone who doesn't seem to like confrontation, and she was literally hiding from him in the boss fight. But her killer dolls, controlled by her, were hunting Ethan. Honestly, I'm a bit of both. Donna has some mental health issues, anxiety, and a traumatic past, so I do feel sorry for her. Chasing Ethan with that demonic baby though? That was cold, Donna. So, there you go. That's Donna Beneviento from Resident Evil Village's Story Explained. Do you want to see more lore videos on the channel? And if so, who would you want me to delve into next? And do you sympathise with Donna, or do you think she's as bad as the other lords? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, thanks very much, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Eurogamer, as we have a new video out every single day. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go, so remember to stay hydrated, folks, and I'll see you next time.